Hello, and welcome back to the channel. I am Farmer Big Z, and welcome back to episode 24 of my challenge series on Mars the Mission. Today is April, and we are continuing planting some corn today. Last month was pretty straightforward, at least in terms of giving you guys a recap. We planted oats in our 3 strips, upper, middle, and lower strips, putting 45 acres down. And now, and we also rolled. We rolled those fields, so those should be all good to go except for nitrogen, which we'll hopefully get to today. Today it's going to be a little bit of the same. We're going to plant some corn, and we're going to have a discussion. After watching a video of a fellow Mars colonist, and then watching the update video, I decided, you know what, maybe this is something that I could kind of put my 2 cents on as well. I'm just gonna get this started, and we'll get right into that. Let's go. Okay. So yes, today we're going to talk about the Mars the Mission map update version 2. Farmer Bob on May 12th, he released a video, and he said that although the update is still anywhere from 4 weeks to being released to Giants, and then another 2 to 3 weeks in like the testing approval phase there, he has some updates that he wanted to pass along to us all. So, before I get too deep into anything, let me start off by saying, as I've mentioned in previous videos, people like playing this game in multiple different ways. I personally like playing a little bit more realistic, a little bit more challenging. There are some times when I cut corners or do some things that aren't fully realistic. Hey, the game has its limitations, and sometimes it can be a little dry, you could say. One of those examples is that I use a quick bale, quick bale actually, and that's because baling is pretty, I don't want to say boring, but it's pretty straightforward. You run in a line, and you pick up straw. Sometimes you might miss little pieces here and there, so I use a quick baler, and that helps me pick up the hay or the grass faster. And it actually has a very wide pickup area, which I've shown to you guys on the videos before. But one of the good things about this game that I really do enjoy is that the game allows you to do almost whatever you want. You don't have to stick to any type of gameplay. If you want to go fast and go big, you can. If you want to go small farms and ultra realistic, you can as well, and nothing is wrong with that. Let me also talk about a few ways that I've approached this challenge. Am I gonna... Oh, it's sticking. Okay, that's good, and hopefully I can last these last few meters. Perfect, we're in the clear. Okay. So yeah, let me talk about how I've approached this challenge here. First off, a few roleplay guidelines, some fundamentals, some rules, some restrictions, whatever you may want to call it. But I approached this map and this challenge in one of the few ways. First thing, I am one of many colonies, one of many colonies. Technically, the roleplay that I've kind of set for myself, and don't get me wrong, I'm not roleplaying too much, but it was my intention to roleplay when I first started off here. But yeah, I'm one of many colonies, and technically the storyline that I created using, and I'll try to pull up some pictures here throughout this video, but using the recruitment letter that was sent to me, I am the 8th. I'm on the 8th station of the Mars Agricultural Research Center, I believe, Mars, M-A-R-S. So I'm in Hope 8, or I'm on Hope 8. I don't know which way is the correct way to say that, but either way, there was 7 other colonies or stations before mine, and some of those have been destroyed. And I actually have like a background story, and I've created stories for a lot of things that never actually came through to be in the game, or at least in my series. But I am one of 7. Technically, there is the first station, Aurora 1. There's Blue Horizon 2, Comet 3, Dawnbreaker 4. I named all of them, like Elysium 5, Frontier 6, and so on and so on. Galactica 7, that was the 7th station that failed, and I, in turn, got the invite to come up and try to manage Station Hope 8. So yeah, I had background stories to how they survived, how they failed or got destroyed. But either way, without rambling too long, because this is going to be quite a long video, I had a background story for a lot of things. I even had a few characters, like RP characters, that I was going to kind of tie into the game at some point or another. We have, and all of this was once again kind of brought up in that recruitment letter, we have an acquisition specialist, and I was going to have them have a few lines and a few roles here and there. We also have a grounds manager, someone I was going to have to talk to before I build things and kind of go back and forth with them on that. I had a cervix expert, and although it's just simply a mechanic, there was going to be some storyline or roleplay in a way to kind of get my maintenance costs down. And then last but not least, once again, some of these are a little easier to kind of skip over than others, but I also had an export director, someone that just helps me, where's the sign? I think the sign's all the way back there somewhere. Export things down to Earth. So I had a lot planned, but I didn't end up going through with it just because this was like my first YouTube video. Where is this line? I wasn't even using GPS. That's a decent line. Okay. Let's just do a quick turnaround here. Line back up. Drop it down. And away we go. Okay. Yeah, so I had a lot planned. Since it's the earlier days, the very early days of my YouTube channel, I decided not to kind of get too crazy, get too wild into things, and I just wanted to slowly break my way into it, learn some of the ins and outs of talking while recording, while playing the game. It is quite quite tricky at times, as you guys might have noticed. There's moments where sometimes editing takes a really long time, and then if you're gonna edit in some of these other additional roleplay features or elements, it does add quite a bit, and I'm still learning a lot of the editing process. And yeah, it's just a lot, you know. So I still have a life, I still have a job, I still have people, family and friends that I want to and need to hang out with. So I decided not to jump straight into the roleplay too hard, too quick, right away. But either way, I do have a setup. I do have a foundation of how I wanted to approach this series and this map challenge. One of the things, and this kind of ties into some of the updates that I'll talk about later, is one of the things is that even though I'm not role-playing too much and like actively having aspects of that enter the game, one of the things is that there's still the mindset of me doing this as a roleplay. So I'm not just creating things, I'm not just building things, I'm not just doing what I want, because technically I've created this as if it is a large military, like Space Force-esque operation. There's a lot of things that that would realistically be going on in this dome, and although some of it is like you can kind of game through it, I didn't want to be invited to somebody's house and just tear it all up as if it was my own. So that's how I entered. And then the other reason is that, or the other thing is that Once again, like I've said in a previous video, I'm pretty sure this challenge is achievable within the 20 years. I don't think Farmer Bob or any map maker realistically would set a challenge that is extremely difficult for people to accomplish. Yeah, there's going to be some difficulties every so often, but the average farmer, most farmers, should be able, I would imagine, to get this done within the prescribed time, within the 20 years and the allotments. Now, like I've talked about already once before, and I'll get to some of the new things soon, I did amend Farmer Bob's initial challenge. I increased the individual crop requirements from 800,000 to 1 million each of 6 different crops, and that adds 1.2 million of total additional crop than the initial map creator wanted. And in hindsight, it doesn't sound like a lot, 200,000 just times 6, but it does probably extend, depending on what crops it is, and either way it is divided within 6. But it does extend your completion time by about 2 years. So hopefully I don't get to year 19 and still need a few more crops to get, because then if that was the case, I would have finished it in the allotted time if I didn't extend it. But the extension was also a balance. I also decided to greatly reduce the number of trees that was needed, and I've spoken about this before, so I'll just kind of glaze over this part. To me, 10,000 trees is an insane amount of trees to need to plant. I don't know if there is a storyline as to why he wants 10,000, but to me, my storyline, since I am the master of my own story, my storyline is, hey, the other 7 stations, the other 7 colonies, they might have had different requirements. The first one might have just been like the inception, and they didn't need to have all these giant fields and these big forests and things like that. They were just like, hey, we're the first station. Can we manage to do this at all? Let's have like a 1x1. I don't know how big. Let's say I'm looking for a distance that's bigger than a foot, or like, let's say a 5 meter by 5 meter kind of square field. Hey, like, let's see, are we able to actually plant potatoes, plant wheat, plant sunflowers or whatever, and have them grow in this 5 by 5 meter garden, essentially, not really a farm field, but just a garden. Maybe the 3rd or the 4th one, they were like, okay, let's see if we can implement new weather on the station, on the dome, on the planet. So in my situation, my story, I went with more crop, less trees. It's just how I wanted to play. The animals, obviously, they stayed unchanged, and that was doable. The animal pens in their animal domes was just too easy to leave as is. I don't know how I'm gonna do on the pigs, but that's neither here nor there right now. The only other restriction, or the few other restrictions I had, was that I came to the colony alone. It's just me, it's just myself, and I have the ability to use one autonomous robot, and I'm trying to take advantage of that, but Marty, at times, as you all may know, it's not the most agreeable to work with, but once again, it's just me, myself, and I, plus one AI. I also started with $2 million worth of equipment, and realistically, that's not really like me gaming or me cheating. The map actually starts you with about $2 million worth of farm equipment already. I just chose the ones I wanted to use. I wasn't going to do cotton harvesting, so I had absolutely no need for a cotton harvester. And there were a few things here or there that I just didn't really want to get into. But truthfully, if you wanted to kind of tackle this challenge as purely as you can by abiding to Farmer Bob's challenge rules or challenge outlines, you could have tried to do the entire mission in the 20 years with the 20 fields and the equipment. I don't even know if you could. I guess you must have been able to. But either way, that's that. I gave myself $2 million worth of equipment. I also had $250,000 of startup funds that I brought over. I was not allowed to take any loans, and I still haven't taken any loans. And essentially, that was it. If I failed, I failed. I wasn't gonna cheat any money in. I wasn't gonna throw anything crazy down. It was what it was. It is what it is. Yeah, at first the money was tight. Money was tight for a very long time. I know we were, I would say, counting down from 100,000 for the first few months, I believe. We got down to like 50, 40. I know I've been like sub 10 for a while. I know I was sub 10 right before I made a ton of money, so that was comfortable. But yeah, once again, I'm kind of stretching, I'm kind of rambling. That is how I set things up. The only very last thing to talk about is my equipment. I wanted realistic equipment, with the exception of my slightly unrealistic baler. Nothing that goes super fast, nothing that holds a ton of product. So like this seed tank, I imagine is relatively realistic. It doesn't have 10,000, 20,000 seeds in there. It's not very wide. I know they do make a wider one in both in game and in real life. Mind you, the one in game that was wider would have been too expensive, and it would have busted my $2 million budget, or it would have left me without other needed equipment if I chose to buy it. So, but either way, this gave me a little restriction to say, hey, let's use some slightly realistic equipment. Crop destruction is on, which isn't that impactful, I find. Don't get me wrong, like, yeah, you are losing crop, but it's not like you're losing a ton of crop with crop destruction on. So I always recommend to everyone, play with it on. Like, you're not gonna, unless you're doing a ginormous field and you're completely disregarding the boundaries of your grown crop destruction isn't going to affect you that much. We're also playing on normal economy, no super strength, no super speed, no flying. That's just the way this is going right now. So that is that. I am going to take a quick break. I want to finish these cornfields out, and I'll throw in a quick montage, and then right after that we'll start talking about the actual updates that are coming through to the map, now that you guys kind of all have a good idea of how I'm playing the game. But I'm gonna get this done, and as always, I'll be right back. Okay, that's it, that's all, and corn is planted. There we go. Now, Marty should be done his rolling, at least on the upper cube, shortly. And I gotta, I always forget. Wait for your planter to fold up, or else you'll go drifting. But yeah, Marty should be done rolling the upper cube soon, and we just gotta drop off this planter, pick up our fertilizing tanks and sprayer, and get to, let's start with the uppermost strip and work our way south from there. One quick note as we swap these things out is that this planter, I don't know if, I don't think I'm doing anything wrong, so I'm going to blame the planter straight up. This planter doesn't want to take from our seed production machine there. Kind of annoying. I have to bring out the seed tank, the seed cart for our seeder, withdraw into that, and then like drop the bags on the ground from there. It's a little annoying, but manageable, but just something to note. And hey, it could be the seed production, but I find it weird that it drops into the seed cart, so I don't want to blame it, but yeah, that's that. So let's head north, and Marty is done. Okay, let's take a quick pause once I get around this solar panel. the solar panel. Let's get Marty restarted on the next field. Might as well go this way. But let's get to it. Let's start talking about the version 2 update of this map. So there are several things. There's about 10 things that Farmer Bob mentioned in his video. The very first thing we're going to cover is he plans on adding a train line, and I'm kind of doing little loop-de-loops here, but I'll just pull up a picture, and I should have pictures for most of these topics. But a train line. He plans on adding a train line around the outer rim, like kind of down. Let me pull up my pointer, my cursor real quick. On the outer rim, kind of like down below. I don't know why I'm pointing. I'll show you guys pictures. It'll all make a lot more sense with the pictures. And although I appreciate the train, like it should be pretty cool. Is that enough fertilizer? Yeah, it says perfect. Okay. Although I appreciate the train, it's a nice visual, and he has several cool little pictures that he kind of displayed. Oh wait, pause. No, let's not make this mistake again. Let's turn on our crop sensor. Let's shut this, and let's roll all the way back around. Okay, let's start that again. There we go. Okay, so yes, like I was saying, first thing, the reworking of... Oh, I skipped the first thing. I'll get back to trains in a second. The actual first thing is reworking of some of the signs. There are a few signs up in the map. There is one for export to Earth, another one for the colony food storage area, water reclamation has one, the command post I believe has one, and I don't know if I'm missing, maybe the fuel depot has one as well. But he plans on rebuilding those signs. He says the signs look a little football-y, like a stadium sign, like a billboard advertisement or something, and he plans on redoing those signs, so that's cool. The next thing, and the first kind of big thing, so the trains, like I was talking about. He plans on putting trains around the map, around the outer edge, on the wall in the lower area. Once again, the pictures I show should make a bit more sense. Interesting. There's going to be a tunnel that the train goes into, and then the train, and then the train will head over, out of view, but the train will head over and up to the spaceship that will then export to Earth probably. So I think that's interesting. It's all visual, like there is no other impact to the game. Like you're still going to drop your grain off at the same export to Earth location, and it's just a bit more immersion to get your crop and whatever else you're selling down to Earth from its location to the spaceship. So that's interesting. I do think it's kind of weird to have a train on this map. The map itself isn't, let's say if I pull this up, my PDA here, the map itself isn't very big, especially if you then consider the area that you have access to, and that there aren't any real obstacles in the way. It's kind of weird to have a train on the map, but a train is coming nonetheless. So that is something. Next up, he plans to change the PDA actually. He says that this PDA is slightly outdated and it's in due for a change, so that's something to come. I wonder how that's going to change. I wonder if the PDA will also change the precision farming map as well. That's one of my issues with this map here, with this game, or with this challenge, is that when you fertilize things, it kind of counts for everything being fertilized. Like the entire map is one big zone. So hopefully, when he says the PDA is changing, I hope that changes as well. But a minor change to come there. Next up is mining. He mentioned mining. I've never been a miner. I've never been a logger in FS22. Maybe something I could or should start getting into. But he mentioned mining, the ability to mine ore and gems, send those back down to Earth, and have a good time with it. I know it's maybe not going to be part of the challenge. Maybe he'll find a way to tie it in. But it's one of those things where mining is rumored to be coming to a colony near you. This is, I do like this, although it's not something that would affect me per se. It does allow people to kind of play the game the way they want to play the game while still enjoying this interesting map. Next up, something that was a big contention to another viewer, another colonist that I watch, is the removal of the fuel pumps and the addition of a diesel production facility. So, Farmer Bob did say that the fuel pumps are going to be going away, and instead of having fuel pumps there, you're going to have to create your own diesel and use, I think he said, canola, sunflower oil, and olive oil, I believe, or something like that. But either way, diesel production coming to the map. I think it's pretty cool. It should add a level of difficulty to the map. And one thing that he does mention later on in his video is that the 20-year timeline is quite achievable. At least he believes so. And I trust him. He built the map. So if he says it's achievable, I can only imagine that he's done some tests and crunched the numbers. So, diesel production coming. If you don't like the fact that you'll have to create your own diesel or rely on electricity, which is staying as is in the map, then I think it's a relatively easy fix. All you have to do is put down a diesel sales point. Pretty easy fix, I believe, and something that most people, both console and PC players alike, should be able to do. Next change, next update is the command post. The command post and the building beside it, those are both getting revamped. No real details as to what they're going to be, if there's anything you can do with them, but the command center will be revamped. I just hope that the collision walls, or the collisions of the wall are there, make the building a bit more of a presence and not just a visual that you can walk through and drive through. Next thing is the collectibles are changing. Currently on the map there are, I believe, 12 cheese wedges. I haven't tried to look for them. I know I keep driving by one or two here and there, but they're currently cheese wedges. Those should be from the Erlingrat map, as default, as vanilla. And he's going to switch those out for the video game cartridges. Those should belong to Oats. Yeah, Oats. So new cartridges coming. I don't think that's going to be an impact to me, but if you are looking to do a little bit of roleplay, that is something that you may be able to tie into your storyline. So that is a welcome change to me. Something that, not that the cheese is bad, but I think the video game cartridges kind of makes a bit more sense with the atmosphere, with the vibe here on Mars, the mission. Next thing, and what I would consider the biggest thing, the thing that I'm most excited for, new living quarters and a underground or multiple underground garages have been announced by Farmer Bob, and they should be coming to a colony near you soon. But yeah, so new living quarters. These look absolutely amazing. There is a front door with a big heavy metal sliding passcode protected door. You then go into this building and you head underground. There's, I think, 2 or 3 levels underground. There's a main living sleeping quarters, which is a little small. You have a couch with a sleep trigger and a wardrobe sleep trigger as well down there. And then you also can continue further down another level and get to your garage / maintenance bay. I think it's really cool. Hopefully the elevators for the vehicles work smoothly, work well, and that there isn't any issues that come from that. But it looks really, really cool. There are similar changes found around the map with regards to garages. All of the standard white garages that I store all my things in, those are swapped out for 2-level underground garages as well. And then that one dome all the way towards like the southeast side, I believe. Yeah, the southeast side that I don't use for anything. That is also going to be replaced by 4 more underground storage areas. So that's interesting. And once again, I saw some pictures that the elevators should hold large equipment. I think there was a cotton harvester in one. I just hope that they work smoothly and they don't kind of take away from the game in any way. Next up is a rework of the environment. He mentioned that snow is going to be gone. There might be a few little specks of snow that kind of hang around, but the idea of it snowing within the dome, that's no more. There's also what he calls the removal of fancy weather stuff. I don't know what that necessarily means, but I am glad either way to see kind of a revamp to how the weather system here on Mars was working. I know my first or second episode on Mars, I was a little kind of perplexed or taken back by the fact that it was raining and snowing, or raining with the potential of snow, which I eventually turned off. But new rework of the environment, so that looks good. The one last thing, maybe I'm forgetting one, but the other one last thing that he brought up was just new props. So this, the shuttle station that's right above me here, the one that the shuttle kind of flies to and then dips down to, lands at, and then takes off again, that's getting rebuilt, reworked. The actual spaceship, the one that says SpaceX over there, that is being redone. There are some mining assets, some visuals coming. There are some little domes he's working with another modder, and some things are going to be rebuilt. But overall, I think the version 2 update of the map, from my perspective, is a welcome one. Hopefully, and I don't know if I'll ever use it, because hopefully it doesn't require a new game save. I'm pretty far. I'm a quarter, roughly, at least as of recording today. Who knows how far I'll be by time the update actually comes out. But I'm roughly a quarter through my challenge, at least on timeline. I'm almost 5 years through the 20-year limit. If it requires a new game save, unless it's something I can easily replicate with like easy dev mods and things like that, I might just stick with what I have here. Like I would have to come back in, repopulate my animals, which that's doable. I would have to fast forward through time, that's doable. Replow all my fields, re-get all my stored things back to where they are. It would be possible, but maybe not something I want to do. I'll have to look into it a bit more, but I hope it doesn't require a completely new game save. Yeah. But overall, if I was to give my opinions on the version 2 update, I would say they're welcome. They're great. To me, there are things that I may use, things I may not use, things I still may want to change out and swap around. But I just like how people are starting to make the game through maps with some challenges and missions tied in. I do like a goal. One of my issues that I always run into when I play Farm Simulator 22 by myself off camera is that I kind of jump around from map to map very quickly. I'll play a map for a little bit, get a few months in, maybe a harvest, maybe another harvest, and then I'm like, I'm out. I want to switch it up. I want something new. This type of mission, although it's 20 years and maybe a little too long, the 20-year line or the mission as itself kind of not forces you, but it encourages you strongly to stick with it, to get what you came to do done, and then move on once you are complete. So overall, I'm happy to hear that a update is coming, and I'm just going to get back to the rest of my fertilizing, which is going quite well, and I'll be back with you all in a moment. But yeah, guys, tell me what you think about some of the updates that are still to come. If you are playing this map, let me know if it's going to affect you and how you have your system set up. And then let me know if there's anything else you would prefer to see or prefer cleaned up on this map that I might have even forgotten. We're going to fold this up, and I just want to check on our grass next door. It looks like it's growing, and that is all I want to do. Just make sure, yeah, that has to be growing. Yeah, 2 of 3, okay. But yeah, that's going to be it for me today. I finished all of my fertilizing. Marty finished all of his rolling. And we're just going to relax for the rest of April. I hope you're all having a good day. If you made it this far, thank you. Please consider subscribing to the channel, giving the video a like, and leaving any comments you have down below. I'm Farmer Big Z, and I'll see you guys next episode.